Blog
Here.
Talk Radio.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Of course. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Great. Now, you had an idea for today's show, so why don't you tell us what the idea was?
Yes. Well, along with Dayle Shear, of course, our psychic Dayle Shear, we both thought it would be such a great idea to interview Richard Conrad. And I don't want to say before he passes away, but I mean, you are 93, Richard.
Yeah, going on 94.
So, I mean, I would feel horrible because we have grown to love you, and you're always on every Friday. You come on with your best friend and soulmate, Dayle, and, you're special to us now, and we want to give you a show. You deserve it after all these years. You've done a lot in your life. Was that good?
Yeah, that's true.
I want to introduce you, though. I want to introduce you. I want to give you a proper introduction because people want to know why. Why would we want to interview you besides your long, long life? Well, oh, my gosh, you have so many accolades. You were in the Korean War. You're a veteran.
Yep.
And while you were in the war, you were a photographer for the military. And you've done radio, and you've written books, very, very long books. And you are a wonderful watercolor artist and a good friend. And we want to find out about your family life, Johnny really wants to know about your dating life. Don't you, Johnny?
Actually, what it is how dating has changed. Just how dating has changed.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but that's also interesting to us. And, I thought I really have seen a lot in the world from going from watching black and white television to now the digital stage. But you really have seen a lot. So welcome to the show, Richard Conrad.
Okay, Barbara, yeah. Well, let's see. I was just telling Dayle a little while ago, what are you going to say? I said, first thing I can say, I was born on the 13th of August, 1928, at a little after 1 in the afternoon. And
good. Good that you know
one
that.
Good. Well,
that
yes.
You
Well,
can do
the
your
reason.
chart.
Yeah. Well, the reason for it was because I can remember my mother telling my dad many times, "Well, I had this one. If you're going to have any more, you're going to have them. I'm not going to." So that kind of set me up. Did you get that?
Your dad said that?
No,
Is
my
that what your
mother
dad
said
said?
that.
Oh, your mother
No, my
said
mother.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
She said 1. I'll give you 1. I'll go through
That's
this
it.
one time.
That's it. That's it, babe.
That's
it. But yeah.
So then you're an only child.
Yeah, I'm the only one, and I sat here thinking about it. I said, well, what can I tell you? And Dale's always telling me, well, you always talk so long. You talk so long.
Well,
I said, well, Richard. I thought about that, and
you
gave
did.
it a little
Richard,
thought.
before you go on, I love the way you talk. And like my dad, he can tell a story for a long time, but we love to hear your stories. But we have to get to a lot of stories. So thank you for thinking about that. But, you don't even have to think of anything to talk about. You just have to answer our questions. That's it.
Fire away.
And I do already have a question for you. If you don't mind me asking the first question, everybody.
Okay, go.
Well, Johnny, do you mind if I start this interview?
Go right ahead.
Oh, I don't know where Johnny went. Okay.
I'm here.
Well,
go right ahead.
I was thinking you were born in 1929 because I did the math, but it's 1928. And so it gives people a perspective. Wow. So my question is, what was your first family car?
Oh, first family car that I bought as...
No, when you were a little boy, your first family car, like your dad bought the family, that you remember.
That I remember. Probably about a 34 Ford sedan.
Okay, so they had Fords. They had something besides the Model T, because a lot of people just don't know. You know, we're not all car people. Oh, wow, that's cool. Okay, that is really interesting. There's a lot of car buffs out there. Do you wish that you still had any of these cars?
Oh, yes. Yes.
They'd be worth quite a lot, wouldn't they?
Okay. So I can put a little twist to this. My first car was a Model A, my first car. I was probably about 15 or 16 when I got it. And I was living in L.A., up there in San Fernando Valley and all that stuff. And that was my first car. And,
was it brand new, or did you buy it and fix it up?
Oh, no. I think my mom bought it for me. Probably, I'm going to guess. I'm guessing now. I'm going to guess she didn't pay over $100 for it. And, but of course, then $100 was $100, not like now. But, yeah, I had that. And I had that through the war, World War II, as one of my cars. And as I tell people, you know, we had gas rationing and all that. So I would run that thing on a gas cleaning solvent.
If you're a homeowner
you would find other ways to get that thing going. I'm glad you're still alive. I'm glad it didn't blow up on you.
Well,
that's funny. Well, okay, but back to your upbringing, though. Hey, Richard, so, okay, you didn't get a brand new car at 16. Not many people do. So did you grow up in an average family, you know, average income family, or lower income or higher income?
No, I was average. I lost my dad when I was about 11 or 12 years old. He passed away. And one of my favorite stories to tell everybody is just my mom and I. And one of my fond memories, you know, people will say, well, what about your memories? Well, here's one I had. I can remember being in Detroit, Michigan, maybe 6 months after my dad passed away. In winter, February, it just rained, and now it was freezing and ice and snow. And we had to get up at 5 in the morning and to go to work, for my mom to go to work, me to go to school. And we were walking 2 blocks to catch the bus, and tripping and almost falling on our bus on the ice. The people who have lived back in the East know what I'm talking about when you got rain coming down, and then it freezes.
Okay, what city again? Because I thought you were.
So I'm getting to the point. I'm sorry, I'm building up to it, but the point being,
sorry.
As we were getting close to the bus stop, my mom looked at me and says, "You know, Dickie," and she called me Dickie a lot of times, "we don't have to stay here," which was true. This was in Detroit, February, horrible weather.
Wow.
And we said, "That's it, Mom." Yeah, my mom was, my dad was gone and everything, so we just, 2 months later, we were in California. Boom. We got the heck out of there.
Your mom's like me. She's like, that's not for me. She did it. I bet there was a lot of people
my mom was a character.
Yeah, I love that gumption she had.
Yeah.
That's where you get it from, probably.
I'm sorry, say again?
That's where you get your spunk, probably, because not a lot of women, single moms back then, would just pick up and move all the way across the country. Did you guys even know anybody in California?
Well, we had a couple of short-tail relatives there, but basically we just, sold a home in Detroit and ended up in San Fernando Valley in North Hollywood and bought a house up on the hillside there. And I went from horrible weather in Michigan to fantastic weather in California. And, of course, this is when the war was starting. And I ended up there in San Fernando, in North Hollywood. And I went to Hollywood High School for a while when I could find it.
Oh.
That's
I used to drive by that all the time. That's funny.
Yeah.
A lot of history there.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
So this is around early 1940s, correct?
Right.
When the war started? Okay. So the reason I asked you about the financial, your family's financial state is because I want to ask you if you really felt a big difference when the war started and all the rationing started. And was it hard, if so?
Hello?
Oh, well, there's something off there.
Sorry.
I don't know why. Somebody's answering a phone. Somebody in the background's answering a phone.
No, it's okay.
Hello,
Dale's
we're not taking callers. We're not
It's okay.
taking
Dale's
callers.
just
We're
trying to
talking
get
to
in.
Richard.
Sorry.
I want to call you Nikki.
Oh, we got two people talking at once there.
I want to call you Dickie. That's so
Well,
cute
hey.
because I have an Uncle Richard, but everybody calls him Uncle Dick, and I don't know how they got that name Dick from Richard. Can you explain that?
I don't either. No, I can't.
I like it, though. I like it.
It's okay.
I do. It's a nice name. It's a name for back then. It's really cute. Like Dickies, the pants, the brand, the clothing brand. Did that come from the war?
Voice on voice there.
Voice on voice. Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah, John.
I didn't get it. I think Johnny's on the phone or something. Johnny,
No,
maybe you should put it on mute when you take phone calls.
Dale just called
Johnny,
in.
he's trying to tell you I'm on the phone now, too.
Oh, hi, Dale.
Hi, Susan.
Oh, we're already having
Dale.
a good time with Richard.
Huh? Good. I'll just sit and listen unless you want me for something.
Okay. Well, we're on the part about how he felt the change when the war started and if that was really tough for him and his family. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, in one sense, it was tough. In another sense, it wasn't. But I can remember when I heard about the war starting, and that was when my dad was still alive, and we had just gone to see Houdini in downtown Detroit on the magic show. And we were driving home and on the car radio, and all of a sudden, here in the afternoon, we get this, flash alert, notice, whatever. We'd just been attacked by the Japanese and blah, 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 and on. That's when I first heard about it. And then from there, when the war actually got started, rationing, that was there. Gasoline was rationed. Everything was kind of rationed.
Like what food? What couldn't you have anymore?
Most of the foods, I don't think we really had to worry too much about foods. They had, stamps for everything, but heck, the food thing was no big deal, as I remember. In fact, I remember the first supermarket I went to, because prior to that, the war, when you went to the market, what you did, you walked into like to A&P Market, which is very popular back there in that area. But it was like a store, and you walked in, here's a clerk, and you walk up to him and say, I want a can of Campbell's beans. Well, he'd go over to the shelf and get the can and bring it to you and sit on the counter right in front of you. Oh, I want, this and I want that. Or you go to the butcher and you say, I want a pork chop. Well, he would cut you a pork chop and bam, put it on the counter. There you are. It was none of these carts or any of that nonsense. But anyway, you ended up
That's
with
easier life. Richard,
well,
I want to ask you something about that. So, because I think this interview is a lot about comparing then to now. So when you go into a grocery store now, I mean, even I think there's just too many choices. It's too confusing. It's too much. And so do you feel that too? Do you wish it was in the olden days?
Well, yes and no. I mean, you got such a variety of stuff, and but I was just times change, and of course, all these big corporations come in, blah 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 blah. You get going on it, and it changes. Back then, when you go into gasoline, you didn't pump it. They had a guy be in like a uniform, come up and grab the thing and wash your windshield, check your oil, but and all that. You got total service, and I can remember what gas was then was on the high end, like at a Chevron or something, was 17 cents a gallon in California.
Oh my gosh!
Can you believe that?
No, that is
gas. Gas
kind of
price
all
now
relative,
and then.
though.
Oh,
it's all kind of relative. But did you feel like you had to really take care of your mom? And when you found out that news after going to the Houdini magic show, which is totally cool that you were able to see him live, were you just feeling, oh my gosh, the war, like how you felt maybe when you heard about 9/11 happening? How did you feel as a young boy hearing that news?
I don't think it affected me too bad, other than the fact, we got to go shoot these guys and we got to do that. And, I can remember, being in school, elementary school, and I was at the tail end of elementary school at that time, and like we had a wood shop. We're all going to make model airplanes out of wood, but they got to be like this kind of a German plane, or that kind of a German plane, or that kind of a Japanese plane, so they could use it for the practice of looking and shooting at and all this kind of stuff. And we're going to go out there. Yeah, and the war, tires. My dad was, I don't know, he had some sort of a in or something, but just before he passed away, he said, I better go buy a whole set of tires. And he did. Things like that. So he was
then you couldn't get them anymore.
Barbara, can I interrupt?
Barbara,
can I interrupt? Hello?
Yes, of course, anytime. It's not interrupting.
Okay, Richard, she asked you how you felt about the war starting, and you went off on a different tangent. So you need to tell her how you felt. But before that, I do the grocery shopping, and the prices are off the charts. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Richard, tell her how you felt with the war starting.
Being a kid, I thought, wow, we're in the war. Can I get in the Army? Can I get in the Navy? I wasn't old enough. And as far as me personally, it really didn't affect me much, other than the fact that things like rationing and all that came along there. And of course, you're only 11 or 12, and right then, there's a big war going on, big deal, this, whatever. But as with a couple of years from that, when you get up around 15 or 16, 17, and those years, things changed because I was in California. I lived out in San Fernando Valley in North Hollywood. It was great. I thought it was heaven.
But don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me.
I know.
Going to your war, because I want to ask you more about your time as a kid. That is really cool. Like I was saying, I used to drive by your high school all the time in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. How cool.
Oh, yeah.
So you were like a city kid. Tell us how built up it was around the area. What was it like on Hollywood Boulevard? When did they start making the stars? Do you remember that?
It was.
We just
went there. It was
there.
Great. I thought the whole thing was just heaven. And of course, those days we didn't have TV. We had radio, And one of my mom's first jobs after we got there was right there in Hollywood. And they would come through and give tickets to people who were working in the shops there and everything to the radio shows. So I got to go to a bunch of different radio shows. And you go in and watch them do this, with Pippa Brigade and Molly and on and on and on, all these old radio shows. And we got to go see those. One of the first things we did was bought a season ticket to the Hollywood Bowl. And seeing all these guys,
I love that.
It was great. Just so many things going on. And but the weather was, being from Michigan and all the horrible winters, the weather was so fantastic. I just loved it. I still love warm weather.
You were in a dream. You were in a dream life.
Yes.
But at first, were you kind of upset that you had to move? Because a kid having to move away, even though it's cold, they don't want to move away from their friends. Do you remember being upset with your mom?
No, not upset. No. My mom and I got along pretty well. Really, we really did. It was, I look back at it now, and what we did, some people say, you did what? You went to California, just the two of you? Yeah. And we made the trip, and we had some experiences on the trip. I won't, spend time talking about that, but we got there, and in fact, I remember once we got to L.A. and going by walnut groves and orange groves and stuff like that, and the wayside stands that had food like that. One of them I remember was stopping at one, and here's a great big barrel. You could buy oranges and stuff, and you also get olives.
Well, that hasn't changed. But that hasn't changed, at least. There's some things that have never changed. We still can pull over on the side of the street, and they have the orange stands there, fruit stands, even in the city. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, obviously this was a very big memory in your mind, a great memory, and it's so strange. I never even really knew that you did that, but I did that exact same thing with my daughter when she was 12. But she was mad at me for a year for moving her out of hot Arizona, the weather that she really hated. But it took a year. But now, with all the friends, she is loving it. Yeah. This is the best decision ever, California. So great. Well, and so you were a good boy then. Did you get in any kind of trouble at all?
Oh, of course.
Like what?
Well, none that they caught me on anyway. And,
good.
No, I didn't steal cars or anything like that. But no, it's making friends. Okay, I'm an only child. All right, and I was used to being alone. It didn't bother me. I could quote amuse myself, if you want to put it that way. I mean, my mom at one point had to go, lived in Detroit. That was before we moved to California. Had to go to Seattle and for family.
I was going to ask you about Seattle. Yeah. Tell us how old were you and why did you guys have to move then to Seattle?
Well, we didn't move to Seattle. She went to Seattle. Well, Dickie, you stay home. Now you go next door to the Jennisons. You behave yourself, and I'll be home in a week or two. So she just left me there. And the next door neighbors, I stayed there, in and out, everything. And
what was she doing there?
Well, the highlight of that was I decided to make some fudge. Now, here's a memory. Why in the heck do you remember this? And I kept trying to cook it. And I worked on it for about the week trying to cook it. And finally, I just said, the hell with it. I just started eating it with a spoon. But, why does that memory stick? I don't know. But
because you probably got really sick. Because I ate too much fudge once when we went to Leavenworth, Washington. I'm sure you've been there. And they've got great fudge. I ate so many kinds of. We bought so much, and I ate it all. And I couldn't even go to church the next day because I felt like I had the flu. I mean, it was just too much for your system. That's why you probably got really sick. Oh my gosh, Dayle, this is so funny. We've gone through so many things that are parallel in life. But we are Leos.
Yes, we are Leos. And being a Leo, like you're talking about my friends, well, yes, I probably missed them, but I didn't in another sense. I made some other friends. And
well, that's fine. I have a different question. Okay, you can talk about friends too if you want, but I want to know,
that's okay.
When you were young, when you were going through puberty, adolescence, did you have a star that you just really loved, a movie star or a model?
Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, probably. I loved movies, and I still love them for a lot of reasons. But anyway, trying to think of some,
Betty Grable?
Names. Yeah, Betty Grable was there and went through all that. And one of the things we had a friend that worked for an ad agency, and she was able to get different, 8x10 publicity photos of the different stars. And I remember she brought home a bunch of those we got to look at and everything. But, no, we had... I don't know, being a Leo, I don't know about you, but I could, friends, yes, but in a sense, I don't think my kid friends were that close. I wasn't that close with them. I was a voracious reader, fortunately, which helped me a few years later when I got a little older. And, I could amuse myself. I'll put it that way.
What do you mean? Are you saying you could have abused yourself?
No, not abused. No, I wasn't abused. No. Abused.
No, you said something about yourself. You did to yourself. I didn't get it.
Well, I can amuse myself. I can enjoy myself.
I thought you said abuse myself.
I'm sorry.
You can amuse yourself. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you into sport or acting? Because here you are in Hollywood, the perfect place in case you want to be an actor. You did?
No.
You went on auditions though?
No, I was around them. You probably were too if you lived in the valley there, especially back then, and especially in Hollywood.
I never lived in the valley. I grew up in Monroe, Washington, with the cows.
Oh, okay.
I grew up with the prisoners' children because we had a penitentiary next door.
That's
I didn't move to L.A. till I was 25. But it's not about me, Richard. It is not about me. I want to know if you fell in love when you were young. Did you have a puppy love?
Did I have a puppy love? Not that I really recall.
Okay. So you really were a good boy.
Well, I guess. Yes. I spent a lot of time as a teenager now, 15, 16, 17 years old. I really got involved in automobiles and motorcycles and things like that.
As a mechanic, you fixed them yourself?
Yes, and hot rods, I had my first, of course, I told you my first car was a Model A, but I had 3 or 4 different ones after that. A couple of V8A Roadsters and everything, which I wish I still had. And, Oh, yeah. And
maybe I should keep my car forever, because I don't want us to have to say that someday, Yeah, just keep it forever. Because those cars, how much would that car, your first car, or say the top car you owned as a teenager, be today? How much would that be worth?
Oh, nice. Oh, that could be worth anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on what you've done to it. Yeah. Easily. Cars,
but you did end up
now.
Getting married. Sorry to interrupt you, but you ended up getting married. Was this before you went on to go into the war?
No. Well, let's see. No. I was not married when I went in the war.
Okay. Into the Navy.
Okay, let me just say this. One of the best jobs I ever had was after I got out of the Navy, 20 years in the Navy, and I went to work at the University of Washington teaching photojournalism, okay? And I taught there for over 20 years, okay? And that was probably one of the best jobs I ever had. It wasn't the best paying job in the world, but one of the best jobs I ever had, because I got to interact with all the students. And with my past experiences, and I sat here thinking about it, and I thought, I sat there, and when I first went in there, I was a high school dropout, and for good reason.
Really?
And, yeah, I couldn't find a high school. That's what I used to tell the kids. I had trouble finding a high school all the damn time. They kept moving North Hollywood High School on me. And,
it's easy to skip. It's easy to skip school, and then you get so behind, then you just want to give up. But they hired you anyway.
Well, the reason they hired me was because of my experience in the military. And that was one of the things for an interview, the gentleman that hired me from the university, we met in San Francisco. It was just before I retired from the Navy. I was just ready to get it out. One of the questions
it really creates character, doesn't it? Being in the military. Some people think that everybody should have to go in for a couple years in the military to get that discipline. Mandatory.
I agree.
That's what my brother did.
I agree.
Really? It really forms a person nicely.
Well, I did it so I wouldn't get drafted into the Army. I didn't want
to. Who wants the Army?
Sitting on a bubble somewhere. Anyway,
no, the Navy's the best.
It's good, but
you get to travel.
But you always have a pretty good place to sleep at night, and all that.
That's right.
My point was I didn't want to get drafted, and I get a kick out of it now because the first time I went down with a buddy, you have this friend. Oh, we're going down. We're going to join the Navy. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let's go do that. We won't get sucked up in this Army thing. Well, the first time I went in there, my buddy got in the Navy, and I didn't. They came around. The doctor said, "Well, son, you got a heart murmur. You can't come in." Oh, a heart murmur. Oh. So I didn't get in the first time. Me.
Oh, really? You had a little heart murmur?
Okay. Okay. Let me stick with me, Barb, for a couple of seconds there.
I am. I am.
Okay. I just gone in. I'm going in to the hospital here the next week to have my heart fixed. Oh, you still got a heart murmur? Yeah. Okay. Well, a year later, way back then, I took the advice of a friend who said, well, do you drink a lot of Coke? Yeah. Do you fool around with women? Well, a little bit, but not much. We'll leave them alone for about a week. Get your sleep in. Rest. Don't go doing anything crazy. Quit drinking the Coke. Do all this. Now go back down there. And remember this. Don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them you've ever been there before. Just walk in, keep your mouth shut. Let them do you the physical and everything. And next thing you know, you'll be in. And that's what happened. I went in, I didn't say squat, and the doctor came around, and I won't go to the graphics section of that, but they came around and check. Okay, and you're in. Next thing is a year later. Well, okay, stay with me. I know it's lengthy. But about a year later, I'm in the Navy. I go in and I decided I'm going to go for flight training. Hell, I can fly one of these damn airplanes, baby. And so I go in there and take the physical. The doctor says, hey, I'll tell you what there, sailor. Yeah, you got a heart murmur. I don't know how you got in. I ain't going to say nothing about this. But you just keep your mouth shut.
Oh,
well, let me finish.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He says, okay, I'm not going to say anything, but get out of here. You can't be a pilot. Oh, okay. And I think probably 90% of those people there at that time are all dead. I'm still here, and I still got a heart murmur. And next week they're going in and check it. Oh, yeah, go ahead, John. Shoot.
Now, you said that something about being a pilot. You were going into the Navy. That would be the Air Force. I thought the Navy was the water.
No, the Navy shows the Air Force how to fly. Don't you understand?
Yeah, I mean, they have to land on those aircraft carriers.
Okay.
It's a big part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Flying is a part
I'll tell you, when you're in a plane, in an aircraft, and you land on a carrier, which I have done a number of times, you have a certain portion of your body on your bottom that's trying to suck up a parachute because you're watching, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Are we, oh, yeah, this is interesting. Wham, and you're down. You know, it's quite an experience, especially the first time you land on a carrier, I'll tell you. Yeah.
I bet so. Exhilarating, isn't it? I love flying.
Well,
I used to fly with my dad. Yeah, but it's scary. Was it a little scary? Were you glad that you didn't become a pilot?
No. I probably made a very decent one, but, you know, oh, you got a heart murmur, you can't fly. Oh, well, okay.
I'm glad you made it in, though. That other doctor, it's so funny because when you were first saying that about the heart murmur, it ran through my mind that, that was just probably that day it showed up, because hearts can be different at different times. Like that doctor who you had is very smart to say, lay off all of that and go back in and keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. I like that. Keep your mouth shut. It's a very old saying, too.
Well, yeah.
Keep your mouth shut. And my dad always would say that. Go in there and just keep your mouth shut. And because it works. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad, because you had such a wonderful career as a photojournalist. And I bet that was a very desirable position. And there weren't very many spots to have. Am I right?
Well, I felt, I'll say this. I think I've been very lucky on many things. And I was very lucky that I decided to go in the Navy, and which gave me an education that's beyond your dreams. For example, for those who are listening that are young or something, the service is wonderful. And like you said a little while ago, everybody should serve. But I agree to that 100%. But as far as I'm concerned, personally, I went in there, and the Navy gave me about 2 or 3 years of training in my field. Okay, and now that's a combination of. Well, yeah. Well, they paid me. You know, hey, come on, go to photo school.
Further.
And
how wonderful.
you know, in my time, the photo schools, both A and B. A being the basic one, B being the primary, the advanced one. They were both 6 months long down in Pensacola. And that was, each one of those supposedly was the equivalent of 2 years, say, in a college or a community college kind of setup. Plus, I also went to Syracuse University for a year on the Navy. And that's where I went for photojournalism specials, was Syracuse for a year. So, you get a lot of training in there, and you can get a lot of training in different parts, different field, whatever field you have to be in. And I felt so lucky that I was able to end up having been through all that training and everything. Because later, Barb, when I got out of the Navy, all that experience and that training was what got me hired at the University of Washington from outside. I was not a PhD. I was not even a high school graduate as far as they were concerned. But my training and the fact that one of the questions the gentleman that hired me asked me, because he was very concerned about this. He said, well, I got to ask you this question there, Mr. Conrad. And what's that? He says, do you know anything about young people? And the only thing I remember about that, Barb, was I laughed. And I said, you should never laugh at a person questioning you for a job. You know?
Yeah.
And I laughed at him. I said, well, we call this man BJ. And I said, sorry, Miss BJ, but I said, you don't understand the military. Oh, I said, military, about 3/4 of all the people in it are not even 21 yet. You know, I think I understand young kids. And, which I did. It paid off. I'll say this in my defense, if you will. After I got in there, I found that I was a very willing listener. Okay, a very willing listener. The kids would come in, and I mean, these, you know, you go into college and the first year or 2 years there, you don't know what you really want to do, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know how many I sat there and would just sit down with them and say, okay, what's going on? Well, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? I can give you occasion after occasion of situations where I had that happen and what happened afterwards, but I won't, you know, use all my time up on that. Go ahead.
No,
question.
It's your time. You can. If it is, I find everything you say very interesting, and I always have a question about it. I don't mean to cut you off for you to think I'm not interested in the whole story, because I am. But remember, we were talking on a show, I think 2 shows ago, on our psychic Dayle Shear show. Okay. That there is a new special forces, and I did look it up after, and there is one, but there's so many. I don't even know why we were talking about, but, you know, it's a special warfare, like it's for, well, because things evolve, things change. You go with the flow really well. Well, then they need to go with the flow. I mean, the technology. So it's a force in that with the technology, you know. So I just wanted to clarify that, everybody, because I did hear it, and it is true. But then I'm looking, and there's so many different ones. Did you ever see combat? Were you in combat? Is that a dumb question? Maybe that's all you did. I don't know.
No, it's not a dumb question. Not at all. Yes, to answer your question roughly. In Korea,
Can you describe it for us?
Well, I'm trying not to be profane, okay?
I think we can handle it. We are over 18 show. We are for an adult audience. So go ahead. Whatever you need to say is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well,
can you handle it, Johnny?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to, how to really say this.
But don't do it if it's going to give you
in terms of
PTSD
combat,
or
you have to understand, and this is what sometimes I try to get across to Dayle, that, you're talking too long on this, you're talking too long on that. Well, that's probably one sense true. But if you don't know the situation, you know, how everything is working, then it really doesn't make a lot of sense. For me, I was on a ship. We were in and out of the combat areas all the time with the damn thing. And I did go ashore. I did photograph everything from burnt bodies on top of tanks to wounded. I bummed a ride up into the combat area at Incheon so I could get pictures of what was going on and all that kind of stuff. And you
were taking the photos, so you had to get right in there, and you had
I get there.
You were journaling it, and you had to get that back to the American people, right?
Well, that was the whole point, yeah. And you record it. That's what you're doing, and I ended up with a Marine unit. I love the Marine Corps, but up with a Marine unit just outside of Seoul, a little ways, and the old sergeant came over to me and said, "Hey, Senator, what the hell are you doing?" I was shooting pictures. Well, he says, "You see up there on that hill? Yeah. Well, there's a sniper right up there trying to get us. I will get rid of that helmet you got." Well, I had a helmet from the ship that was a gray. So threw that away and found one. Some poor guy was on a stretcher or something, I forget where, and got a regular one and so on.
That's a good idea. That's good that you thought of doing that to be protected.
Well, in fact, in order to get back, I got stuck up there right on the Han River. And
was this kind of like MASH? Because MASH was about the Korean War, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but that was MASH is a comedy, that's
Not
for
really.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
It is, but
that probably bothers
you
to have to watch that it just wasn't really the way it was.
Well,
I know that would be annoying.
Some of it was ridiculous, like people say, well, did you ever shoot pictures of notables? Well, yeah, I shot pictures of MacArthur and all these generals and admirals and all that stuff. And in fact, I even had a picture of MacArthur smoking a cigarette, of all things, and all this kind of thing.
You didn't think MASH was realistic, the TV show MASH?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Well, it was a comedy, he said. So, it's Hollywood. But I know things like that can bother people when they've actually really experienced it and lived it, and then when it's not portrayed the way it really is, it can be annoying, but maybe not because that was just a comedy. But a movie, it's very important to have those things right, because these people are watching.
What about the TV show was unrealistic?
What was unrealistic?
Yeah, about the TV
show. The comedy
show
part. I mean, in a sense,
let me answer that, Johnny. There's no comedy about real war, such as he went through, and it upsets him to even talk about it, because he's seen a lot of dead bodies and a lot of dead people, and he had to go in there and photograph it. So MASH doesn't even compare.
No, it was traumatic. I'm sure it was traumatic.
So moving on.
And how did you deal with it? How did you deal with any trauma that you experienced? I know a lot of veterans have a real hard time with it. You seem very happy, but we don't really know what's going on really deep inside of you. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I think it's an individual thing, Barbara. And you can set up, it's like in later years, all these experiences, not including the war and everything, but other things that happened in the military, really set me up for writing. And this part I'd just like to get out in case we got some young people out there listening.
And painting, Barbara. Remember the paintings I sent you?
Yes, I know that can be very therapeutic to express yourself through art. So these are gorgeous. We're going to showcase them when we send this show out. Richard is a very, very talented waters. I want to tell you myself, Richard, I was very impressed. It's not easy to make something look like a water is flowing. The light is just right on every little leaf and mountain, and the aspect ratio is perfect. And so where do you want to send people? I want to see some pictures of you when you had that Model A when you were young. Do you have those? Do you have any photos?
Well,
like
I
that?
do, but I don't, Barb. My daughter, who lives up in Kennewick or up in Lewiston area, she has all the stuff, my photos and all that stuff that I had over the years.
Good.
I was always photographing stuff, scenery and people and all this kind of good stuff. And one of the highlights was it, and I like to point this out and to young people, if you get out and you do get in the military, you can get a tremendous schooling out of it. And I did.
I was
very fortunate. And I was very fortunate to get to go to Syracuse University. There was just 10 of us selected to go. And the reason they wanted us to go was very simple. They liked the pictures we got, but the editors never thought that the word and the pictures were going together. Okay, so they wanted us to not only photograph, but sit down and write, okay? And here I am, a high school dropout. Hell, I couldn't tell an adverb from a verb, I still can't. But they brought in a newspaper editor to teach us how to write quick. And I'll just say it really quickly, that they tell us, you write like this for a newspaper, blah, 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 blah. And that's what we did. And that, in turn, helped me out later, Barb, because when I got out of there and got out of the Navy, I got this job at the University of Washington.
Wow.
And I do that. Okay, I'm going to bore you just a little bit more now. During that period.
I love the UW, by the way, everybody. Richard and I are both from Washington. Well, not from. You are.
Oh, yeah.
Born there. But spent a lot of time there. And your daughter still lives in Washington. Washington is great. The UW, Huskies, yes. Okay. No, this is something you're very proud of, and you should be. So go ahead.
Well, okay. The point being that, the training's there and everything. We had that period of the gas shortage during the 70s. Maybe you remember it, maybe you don't, but it was short. And so they started doing van pool things. Remember seeing those? Okay.
What was it called? What was it called?
A van pool, where you had a van that would hold a dozen people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, Barb. So I lived up on Whidbey Island, and I ended up driving one of those van pools and picking up people who all worked at the UW. Okay, here's the thing. I'd have to get them to work before 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, when you're in, as you know, if you've been in college, 8 o'clock in the morning, hell, nobody's, motivated. So I always had about 8 to 9 to 9:30. There was nothing. I had nothing to do. So all of a sudden I got the idea, I'm going to start writing. And so I started. And kids would come in, I'd be writing, oh, what's your reading? Oh, that's it. What are you going to get it published? When are you going to get it published? When are you going to get it published? Well, I said, being a smart ass, pardon my French, I said, when I get 10 books written, when I get 10 of them written, I'll put one out and try to get it published. Well, I got to about 9.5. I wrote about 8 different books. And someday when you're totally bored, I'll try to get you one. But anyway.
Just don't send me the 700-page one first.
Okay. Well.
Send me the short one first.
Oh,
800, okay. Over 800 pages. Yeah, don't send me that one first. I'll read the short one first. You got to warm me up.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know you wrote that many books. Wow. Oh, but before you talk about the books, I wanted to say, from what I've heard, I think in the olden days, you were kind of forced to interact more with people. Just when you went to the store. If I go to the store, I can put my hood on, my glasses, not look at anybody, get my stuff. I won't even have to talk to anybody. I could right? And I like that. Mm-hmm. To be forced to go in and talk to somebody, it just was different. It was pleasantries all the time. It was, every person learned how to really communicate with another human being. Do you think that the children of these days are not really getting that?
Yeah. People connection. I got into some discussion with PhDs, if you will, at UW, and one of them some of them couldn't understand how a uneducated hick like me came in there, and when I first got there,
Well, wait, Richard, she's
people,
talking about Richard, she's talking about
I'm getting there. I'm getting
socialization. About when
people.
No, she's saying when you talk on the phone, when you meet people, the kids of today, all they do is text. Are they going to grow up to be pretty socialized?
I don't know. I really don't.
Maybe you haven't even thought about it, but it is something that you might want to think about, right? I mean, Dayle, they're not. Okay, we know that they are not. They have foul mouths, a lot of them. They don't say thank you. You give them a ride and they slam your door and don't even wave goodbye. I mean, and I notice it when there is a polite friend of my daughter's, and I'm very impressed, but it should just be second nature, and it's just not. It's not like the olden days. And how wonderful that you did have all of that. It is wonderful.
No.
And, about getting the job at the UW teaching photojournalism, which was amazing, and a lot of people did think, oh, my gosh, how'd you do that, you hick that you dropped out of high school? But whoever was there doing the interviewing, they're so smart because it is about life experience. That's what they wanted, and the talent. And you didn't even need that. My dad always said, you don't need a college education if you're going to go be an artist. I mean, unless you are going to be a lawyer or a doctor. So it didn't make me feel that bad that I didn't go. I always wanted to go to college, but I didn't, and I always felt bad. And then he told me that. And it's true. I'm so much better than so many other people with an education at artistic things. So I get it. I totally get it. And I am not surprised that you got that job.
Yeah, well, the point being of that job was that the people asked me, well, on students, what were your best students? Okay, quickly, the ex-GIs, people who've been in the military. Next best students, women who were just recently divorced, coming back to finish their college. I don't know what I can tell you about that, and so on and so on. People.
You do not have to hurry. You do not have to hurry, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
He can take his time telling his stories. We don't have to stop at any time. Go ahead and just enjoy telling us. I don't want you to feel rushed.
Okay, let me give you one example that comes to mind, because we have a lot of ladies probably listening to this. The young ladies, and there I would get this question, well, I don't know what I'm going to do for summer, and my return would always be, okay, what are the mom and dad going to do, pay you to stay away from home? They would laugh, but that was often too true. That was too true. They were being paid to stay away from home. What am I going to do? I said, well, here's what I would do. And I would sit down and I'd say, okay, if you want to get away for a year and have an experience you'll never regret, I said, go down and get yourself a job to teach English in Japan. Because I've been to Japan and I love the country. And several of them did. Several of them did. And
good idea.
They would come back, and one of them came back, and I still hear from her. They're married and got kids now and all that stuff. But
you still hear from these students?
Oh, yes.
What great advice. What great advice that you gave them.
Well,
I bet they just had a wonderful experience.
Yeah. They got to call up and see how the old man's doing, Oh, you're still here? Yeah.
That's funny. I love it. I bet you were their favorite teacher.
Anyway, I would say I gave them a hell of a good show. Stand up in front of a bunch of kids, and all of a sudden you learn what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say, and how to keep their interest up, and all that kind of stuff. But the involvement, I'm trying to find the right word here, with the students was, to me, the best part of the whole job at UW. Being able to sit down with kids. Did that help you as being a dad? Yeah. I had two kids. I got a son and daughter. And maybe they're listening, maybe they're not. But it's that experience was, I think, beneficial not only for me but for them, to have somebody sit down there who, especially in some college classes, they're so goddamn huge. You get some TA or something, who the hell's whatever. But
right. Oh no, it can really help you. But you're a good listener. You were saying earlier in the show, you were saying that you like to sit back and listen, and that's what young people need. They need to be heard.
Oh, yeah.
They need to be listened to. Yes.
Well, they have to. They come in with, should I do this? Should I do that? People come, well, should I be in the military? Should I be in ROTC? And I would sit down and say, okay, what do you think you're going to do? Blah, 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 blah. And just get a conversation going. And then tell them, this is what's going to happen probably, and so on and so on. And, the outtake of that that's really good, Barb, is I got to go to a bunch different weddings. Think about that.
It just cut out. What's pretty good? I didn't hear the last part.
You guys are breaking up. You guys are breaking up. I can't.
You're breaking up.
No, your phone. Your
Totally.
You're breaking up. Something's breaking up. I don't know. Something happened. Anyway, I think we're probably out of time.
There's some background noise. Just, John, do you have the TV on?
No, it's not me. It's not me.
It's not me. It's not me.
It's like there's a caller on waiting or something. Okay.
I don't know.
It's gone.
Okay.
And now you're clear. Now you're clear too. That was interesting. Okay. You were saying about
weddings,
interacting with the kids. You love that. You loved dealing with the youth and offering advice and teaching them. Do you miss teaching? I would love to learn photojournalism from you.
Oh, yeah. You'd loved it. We'd have had a ball. I'd have had you had you photographed and put up on the wall.
Oh, you would have turned it into modeling. I want a journal. No, being a photographer is really, was there a challenge being a photographer? Did you have the proper equipment? Did you ever run out? What if you were on the ship and you didn't have what you needed? Did anything like that ever happen?
Somewhat, but you can find ways. To do that. If you run out of film, which we did sort of, we just got a hold of some film that are used for aerial cameras. And that film was like, 9 or 10 inches wide by 200 feet long. And you go in a dark room and you cut it up into 4x5s or whatever you needed to go on a camera. But
there are ways.
There's always a way.
That's bigger than the center pole, because I have collected 8x10 Polaroids that they would use. They would use a completely different camera to shoot the gatefold for Playboy. They were huge, and it's really cool because that's the only time I've ever seen an 8x10 Polaroid, and I still have them to this day. They're probably worth a lot. How big were yours?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have Polaroids too back then?
No, yes, but I never bothered with it too much. Strictly, film and paper, chemicals, and all that stuff, and so forth and so on. But what I was saying before the noise started coming in there was a lot of these students that I'd talked to and everything, I ended up going to their weddings. And some of them very interesting, especially Chinese. And that was something else. Long story.
Great?
But, very, very.
Was it amazing?
Yeah.
Totally different.
Two different.
The garb they wear.
Well, yeah, 2 different ceremonies. You can go on for hours on that. Another one was a Jewish wedding, and that was very interesting.
I like that. They know how to party, right, Richard?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And there was they treated me like a king when I came in there. Because they made sure I was sitting with somebody who knew what was going on, that could explain to me what's happening, why they were doing this and why they were doing that, and so on. And fortunately, my wife got to go with me, and she loved it because she could see all that stuff. But it was
How long were you
Are we
married?
out of time or?
No. How long were you married?
57 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, marriage. I didn't know. I didn't know if it ended in divorce or anything. That's wonderful.
No, yeah, she just passed away on me, but, all that
How
kind
many
of
years
stuff.
ago?
Oh, about 12, 13 years ago.
And when did you
I lost her.
Dayle?
Where did I meet Dayle?
No, I don't know where. When? How many years ago? Yeah.
Oh, about,
when?
what's it been, Dayle? About 4 years? 5, 3, 4, something like that. 3 or 4 years ago.
Did you ever
in Hawaii?
Okay. Did you ever think that you were going to be here? You're going to be like in your late 80s, and just sitting there, and this nice lady, she's trying. I thought it was at the pool somewhere. She's trying to get into the.
Nice.
This wasn't really her pool, I don't think, and she snuck in.
No.
And then
I've known him since
something like
he was
that.
89.
89, and you just struck up a conversation and realized that the book, a book he had written,
Be
really
honest
was
now, Dayle. Be honest.
Story about you. Well, from what I
What?
remember, when I met you guys a long time ago, I met you and heard the story of you meeting. It was really funny, but I love how Dayle is a people person. She just started talking to you.
No,
and
I'm not.
You guys realized
Barbara.
that you are
Barbara.
okay,
Barbara.
Barbara's over now. I'm messing up the
Barbara,
whole meeting.
I'm just like you. I hide a lot, and then I do my work, my psychic work, and I enjoy it. That's about it. I'm an animal person. No, but I met Richard when he was 89, and I used to go into this building, and he was sitting there by himself. And I figured I'd sit down with him and talk to him. I had to have eye surgery, cataract surgery. So he had already had it. So I was scared, and I was asking him all kind of questions for about 6 months about cataract surgery before I'd even do it. And that's how we became friends.
Oh, how wonderful. But then you did realize that you guys are a soulmate. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's really weird is that he did a painting a day down in those days down in Hawaii for the group of all the people around there that used to hang out. And he said to me, "Do you want to see my paintings?" And I'm going, uh-oh, what's that?
Uh-oh, you going to kidnap me too?
No. So I went up to his apartment and I looked at his paintings and all the stuff he had done, and it was really paintings. I was scared. I didn't know what he had in mind.
Mhm.
And he gave me a painting. It was really nice. Of course, he does that with everybody.
It could happen, though. I've been in situations like that, and then I watch all these shows that somebody says, "Oh, I've got a puppy for you. We'll just stop by my house real quick," and then pretty soon they're in some dungeon for 10 years. But obviously that didn't happen. No,
because he was 89. I could run a lot faster then.
He's really tall.
Yeah.
He's a tall kitten.
Yeah,
a sweet little
he's
tall
very
kitten,
tall.
Right? How tall are you,
very
Richard?
tall. How tall are you, Richard?
Do what? Okay.
How tall are you?
How tall? Oh, about 6'3" or so. 6'2", 6'3".
That's good.
If I stand up straight.
I'm 5'1".
2'4".
Cute.
We look like, and I probably shrunk. We look like Mutt and Jeff.
You guys hang out
before and after taking.
Yeah,
we hang out
so much. You guys hang out all the time. You have nice lunches together all the time, and I just have to hand it to your husband because I don't think he's getting jealous. but you just are,
no. They're
always
best
joined
friends.
at the hip.
They're best friends. I mean, they, because my husband has to work all the time, and they're best friends. And Blythe, we use him to fix everything. We break everything, and we're always calling Blythe to fix it. I mean,
he's probably so glad that you have a guy to go do everything with. I mean,
sure
it's like
is.
a little playmate.
Yeah,
your
sure he is. So, sure, because then I don't have to bother him, so he's happy. He just takes my dog with him, so he's all right.
That's what I thought. And how wonderful. So, Richard, what if you didn't have Dayle and Blythe? And because I know you all cohabitate very happily. Would you just be alone, or would you move in with your daughter or your son?
No,
I'd
be staying with my son over, who lives over in New Mexico. In fact, I started to go back there about 6 times this past year. But every time we did, the town he lives in, Farmington, had so much virus going that no way was I going.
I remember, Dayle. I remember that.
Stuff.
You were not happy. You were sad. You missed Richard. And I was praying for you that Richard would come back, and then he did.
Well, I never left.
No, he never left because his son's wife got into a car wreck. Every time he tried to go, or we tried to go back there just to even visit, something weird. Then there was the coronavirus. Then she has 10 kids that are, in her family, and I don't want Richard around that, so I didn't want him to get the virus. It went on and on and on and on and on, and it still hasn't stopped.
I remember now. I remember that we were praying that he didn't go. That's what it was. And then he didn't. So I was so happy because you want to have your best friend. I mean, I know the little grandchildren want their grandpa, but sometimes,
they don't care.
It's not going to work. There's a lot of grandkids, I bet, right?
No, he's not a child person. He loves animals like me. I mean, if you ask him, he doesn't know the names of them all. So it's just, it gets crazy, and then they have sniffles and colds. And see, because of Richard's lungs, we can't let him get that. So I make sure that, he's okay, I want him to make 100. I want him to make 100.
And not
I don't know why.
Do.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Not many people even make it to 93, past 90. So it's crazy. I mean, you just sound, you're doing so well.
My grandmother got to 107.
Very healthy.
What,
it's rare though.
What did Johnny say?
My grandmother got to 107.
Holy, excuse me. Holy matzo balls. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
107?
Yeah.
Wow.
And my stepdad's dad lived till 106, and he was sitting right there to the very end at the Thanksgiving dinner table. He was falling out of his chair. I had to go around and catch him. And then Don, my stepdad, he was pouring him like a half an inch of wine, now and there. I'm like, hello, he's 106. Fill the wine glass up for him. I think he deserves it after all these years. It was ridiculous. I was like rushing it.
I think Richard will live to be 100. I'm not worried about it. I may go before he goes. Who knows? That's the way
do you want to live till 100? Some people don't want to because they get tired, they get ill, they hurt.
No, I want him to live to be 100. Because if I didn't have him around, then I would have nobody. So he's got to live to take care of me. Because Richard, tell him what you go through one day with me with the ice, spilling and I getting lost and all kinds of things. Because I can't see for myself.
That's funny. Tell us, Richard. Give us a funny story about Dayle.
Oh, what? Well, today we went to Sharky's for lunch. Of course, she spilled a whole pitcher full of iced tea, not just a glass, Oh, God. Just oh, Jesus. I have to keep taking my hand and put it in there push her elbow up because she's so damn short. When she reaches in for her food, her elbow goes in the food, and it's all over her clothing. It's yeah. I got to get her a ball string that she can tie here, and so she can unwind it wherever she goes. Then all she has to do is wind it back up to find her way back home. That way.
I don't even know how I got lost today. I don't know. I had a very bad day, Barbara. I had this little place that I had some money, and I couldn't open it, and then we finally got it open. I go, I'm not using this thing again, and then that started today.
Well,
I don't know.
You know what? This cheers you up, though. I know one thing. When I do the show, that cheers me up because you can't help it.
Yeah.
Well, you may be cheered up. I'm the one that has to work.
Did I ask some good questions? Because I'm thinking, what would I really want to know from a person who's lived this long? Because I imagine what he was like as a little boy, and then finding out he went to Hollywood High. Cool. I'm imagining.
You have to understand this, Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be 94, and he still drives perfectly.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
I feel very, very safe in the car with him. Because if I drive, we'll get killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so your eyesight is really good.
No, it's not my eyesight.
Not you, his. Is his eyesight?
No, his is good.
Now, you don't even have to wear glasses.
He does, but, he's fine.
Well, I've seen Richard, and he looks really great. When we do the Zoom shows, you look great, Richard. You don't look 93. Yeah, so they do all say that. Usually the tall and thin ones, really always look so good. Naturally, you're just thin. Yeah, you're so lucky. You've got good genes. I am so glad to hear that you had this wonderful long 57-year marriage and kids. I mean, there isn't really anything that you missed in life, it doesn't seem. You've traveled the world.
Oh, yeah.
He has traveled the world. But you know what? Then he met me. And his whole world turned upside down.
I'd say it's a cherry on the top of the life. I would say it's a great, great thing because it keeps you guys laughing. It keeps you young.
Oh, yeah, that's the name of the show, right? Life, laughter, and happiness. Yeah.
That's right.
But I'm always doing something stupid. I can't believe how stupid I am. That's all.
Well, we're not supposed to say that. Don't put that into the universe.
Trying not. If you had a day like I had today, it was not funny. It was not funny.
I thought it was.
Well, yeah, you were.
I'm still laughing.
Oh, and Barbara, I wanted to say something important. My birthday is next week, the 21st. So the 18th is the only place I can get into this buffet that I want to go to at the Atlantis. So I'm not going to do the show on the 18th that I know of, unless something changes. But, because I can't get in on my birthday, so, I'm just going to do the best I can. But if something changes...
Well, okay. But we can change the day. I know you love Fridays, but it's very easy to change the day, isn't it, Johnny?
Well,
we can, but we'll talk about it. Well, I don't want to change it permanently. I just, we can't. No, we can change it, but I have some doctor's appointments for Richard in the next week, 3 in a row in Reno. So I got to figure out what day that would be.
Right.
I have one more question.
Oh, wow.
Are you going to leave your beautiful paintings to Dayle Shear?
He made those for me.
I think that would be wonderful for you to have those because you'll cherish them forever. Do you think about things like that, Richard?
He's made
you got space on your wall? You got any space on your wall, Barbara?
Barbara,
oh my gosh! Yes, I do.
He wants to make you one, but we need your address for the sender.
I would love that. I love art. I love art, and I will put pictures all over the wall to cover the entire wall, all different kinds of frames. It looks really chic. It's cool. Sure, there's always space for your paintings. How wonderful. You know what? That really makes me feel good and touches my heart that you would even think of painting something for me.
Okay, tell you what, Barbara, send your address to Dayle, okay? Just text it to her.
I will. Thank you. And
okay,
you know what?
so we know where to
always draw. Okay, one more thing. I used to always draw when I was a little girl. I had these dreams of living in California because rainy Seattle at the bus stop every day, dreary, gray skies.
Yes.
I used to always paint the ocean and palm trees with coconut and just dream of it. And I think this was like a visualization kind of manifestation because it definitely happened. And just to give you an idea of like what I like to look at, because I know you do watercolor scenery and because of the mountains and the rivers, but I'm not going to tie your hands and say you have to draw a palm tree in the ocean. I'm not going to tie your hands like that, Richard.
That's what she wants. Barbara, I had a question for you that I didn't know if you knew or not. Did you ever watch HDTV, Flip or Flop, the couple? Okay.
Yeah.
It's going off the air. That's upsetting to me, with his old wife. His new wife, I found out, was a playmate, but I can't remember her name.
Oh, I'm going to look into that.
Would
so
you?
This guy who was doing this with this lady, they were married?
Yes. And then they're now.
I used to watch that all the time with my mom. That was one of our favorite
I know,
things to watch.
but now they've cut that show. It's no longer because now he has his new wife. And
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up because Flip or Flop is new wife. I get music or whatever his name is. Mosick, I can't think.
Okay.
They have it on HGTV. Their wedding. They have their whole wedding, but it upset me that they're not going to be doing the old one because he's married to his new wife now, and he has his own show.
Flip or Flop.
Huh?
Well,
maybe I'm thinking of a different show. Is this Tarek? Tarek and the blonde with the
yes.
And he's even probably getting a more gorgeous one. I mean, you know, I'm thinking playmates are really high up there with the looks. I see. Okay, Tarek E. Musa of Flip or Flop, engaged 2 years after divorce. Okay, I am going to keep looking. They look so much alike.
I know.
Yes.
Heather Ray. Girlfriend Heather Ray. I've heard of her.
All right. So
That's
I just
crazy.
I thought you'd be interested in that. When I heard she was a playmate, I went, whoa. You know?
I'm so interested in this because of the mere fact that, okay, when you get a divorce, I'm sure it goes through a woman's mind like, oh, my gosh, I hope he doesn't get one hotter than me, or maybe they don't care, but usually you kind of do care. And you look, and you're like, okay, wow, look at his new one. And here is a headline. I am so sick of everybody thinking I'm trying to look like his ex-wife. And I'll tell you, I've seen this Heather Renee. You know, she's always looked like that. She's not trying to look like anybody else, but it seems to me that he definitely likes a certain type.
Yeah, that's for sure. And to be honest with you, I like his old wife better with the show, you know, but this
She's
is
good.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen to her, but it was just really upsetting to me on HGTV.
She's got her own show, too.
She does?
Well, what's
they're canceling it,
that they got a divorce? Are you upset that they got a divorce or that she's not as good for the show?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wow, and the other one's just going to not do the show now, the ex, because she was so good.
Correct.
Interior designer, everybody. Wow.
It's sad. It's sad. Because she was awesome.
She had a lot of style, too. She had a lot of style the way she dressed. She always dressed really cute, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the new one, new one just, I kept looking at her and go, God, they look identical. But that girl bosses him around and everything, and I just figured, oh, wow, that's kind of weird, you know. But
well, they're going to get some ratings. They are going to get good ratings if she bosses them around because, the American people, they love their guilty pleasures. They like watching drama. They love it.
Like 90 days. We do.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You always have the scoop, Dayle.
But
you know what? We should do little shows on just the scoop, entertainment, because all the fun things to watch. Yeah. Let's do it. We're going to do short.
The funny thing, though, I will pick a day that will be convenient for us to do the show instead of that Friday. I just don't know because I have to look at his schedule and see, he has to go visit a couple of doctors for a couple of things. So we're going to do that, We have to go to Reno to do it. So it's it takes a bit. And then my birthday's
March
in the middle.
18th, your
my
birthday,
Barbara, is March 21st, but the 18th is the only day I can get into this place that I want to go, the Atlantis Casino. It's a buffet, and they're expensive, but it's good.
Okay.
What?
But I wanted to let everybody who's listening, because I remember this last year, too, because I don't think you could do it last year. And I said, well, that's good that we know on air, because now everybody, you have a chance to go out and get a birthday card or maybe a gift for Dayle Shear, Psychic Dayle Shear, and you can find out everything on how to get it to her on her website.
Oh, no.
Barbara. You like that plug?
Barbara.
Why?
No.
Why?
Barbara, I have requested this year for anything I get from Richard or my husband or whatever, that to be given to the Ukraine people. I cannot watch TV anymore. I don't need anything that's important. So whoever wants to send anything, I would rather you just donate through your church or through your wherever to donate for the Ukrainians because I can't take it anymore. It's killing me.
And you could put that on your Facebook page, a charity of your choice. Did you know that?
Facebook or my website?
Facebook. Your website.
Well, both.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but there is a button for giving to your favorite charity. And
I didn't know that.
I'll look into that for you. I will, because I know you feel like your heart is just wrenching right now, and me too.
Yep.
When I look at the news, it is so sad. I mean, they're just people like us. We have our beautiful little cozy corners. We have a home to go to. We have all of our pictures and our clothes and our conveniences. And all of a sudden, you are thrown into a warehouse with a little cot and whatever you have on your back. Oh, wow.
I don't even want to think about it. It's just this is a political war. It's about egos, and it's sad. It's just sad to kill all those people for no reason.
I know. It's so sad.
So
and I do pray for them.
Whatever little money that I have or whatever we can give, I went through the temple to do this, the Jewish temple, and they will forward the money to Ukraine and to the people. And I just feel whatever we can do for them would be the best thing in the world, because this is not going away right away.
No, that's very, very thoughtful and kind of you, and that's appreciated. So, wow. I don't want to end on a bad note, though.
No,
hey, Johnny,
we can end
where
on
have you been? You
I'm
guys,
here.
Richard, Dayle, what up with Johnny? He didn't have, one question for Richard.
No, I
Why
did.
are you so
That's
quiet,
true.
Johnny?
That's not true.
Why
I
are
asked
you
him
so
a question.
I asked
Richard a question. You remember? About MASH.
Yes.
Well,
about
the MASH,
right.
we answered it. We answered
We did
MASH.
I mentioned it.
But he's
Johnny,
so
we
quiet.
answered
Why
it.
is Johnny quiet? We answered it, Johnny. Why are you so quiet, though?
I just thought that, I wanted to give you a chance to ask questions.
Okay, forget about match. That doesn't apply to what this man went through, okay?
Right. Think of something,
So let's
Johnny.
end on a positive note.
Think of something positive to ask him, or a statement, Johnny. It's your turn. You need to put in the effort on your own show.
Okay. How about now? I mean, this is what I'm curious about. I mean, like, how do you stay positive with all the rough things that goes on in the world?
How do you stay positive?
Yes.
That's a good question, Johnny.
Excellent question. But I think it's in your mind. You have to be positive yourself. I mean, I had things that happened to me that I thought, holy mackerel, how did I get this, But everything I did that helped me get some of these places was from being positive.
Well, Richard, he's asking about now. How do you stay positive with all that's going on in the world?
I think it's just your own personal mindset that I'm going to be positive, not negative about it. I mean, what can I do about this war? Not a damn thing I know, other than, send a few bucks that way. But everything I do is always...
It's just the way you are, right? Richard,
just the way you are, I think.
He's made that way, and that's awesome. But some people aren't. But naturally, I mean, you're wired just right, Richard. And it's been such a pleasure getting to know you even better and finding out these little details that I've often wondered about your life.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so grateful to have you in our life and what you do as a friend to Dayle, and very much. I mean, hey, when I say soulmate, it doesn't have to be a romantic thing. That's not what soulmate is. A soulmate, it's a soul meeting another. And thank you for being there for Dayle, and thank you, Dayle, for being there for Richard. How wonderful!
Well, hey, he's more there for me because if he just is, because I lost my father at a very early age, at 27, and it killed me. And Richard has really replaced a lot of that, so did my teacher. But he's always there to pick me up when I fall down, so that's kind of nice.
Yes,
try to keep her from getting lost.
So
I have no sense.
Be happy.
I have no sense of direction.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you are.
Keep it on the positive note. I have one question for everybody. Should we go out and buy electric cars or not?
Not yet.
I don't really like them. I'm not going to.
Me neither.
I don't like them. No, I see these parking spots and they're always empty. I don't know if it's the craze really anymore. They're empty, and what if you can't find one and you're on a road? I mean, it's America. We have our memories of our wonderful automobiles. I don't like it when people say, "Oh, they're horrible. They're horrible." People, you know what? This brings people a lot of joy. Their car.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. I have a 2001 VW Beetle, which I love. So I understand. Okay, Barbara, are we up for now?
Sure, we are, but I want to know what color your Beetle bug is.
Oh,
of course.
It's money mint green.
My favorite color is green. How adorable. I love those beetle bugs. Elkie had a blue beetle bug for years, and it's just so adorable. I love those. Yep. And I drove one of those Volkswagen red vans with the stick shift 3-speed in Ketchikan, Alaska. And it was fun. I like it. See, I like to know these little things about you guys because when I think about you throughout the day, I imagine you in it. You know, I imagine you in your bug. I imagine Richard in his other car.
I do like my bug. We have 3 cars here, but we have the 4-wheel drive Jeep because it snows, so we need, some a Jeep. We also have a Richard's car, which is a Subaru, and then my husband has a Ford, which is, I'm really surprised. It's getting like 35 miles to the gallon. The Ford, it's really good.
Ford what?
I'm thinking. Has I know. Has a sunroof.
The new Ford.
Oh, this one.
I love them. They just go.
2012. Yeah, I bought this 2012. I bought it in Hawaii. SEL Focus, Ford Focus.
Okay, those are nice. Those are very nice.
Yeah, and it has a sunroof and everything, and it has enough room for my dog, so it's fine.
Well, we are all very fortunate to have these wonderful things, and so our prayers go out to the people in Ukraine, and thank you so much, Richard, again. Hey, everybody, Richard's on Facebook. Richard Conrad. So go request his friendship, and that'd be, a wonderful thing for you in your life if he's your friend.
That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact. Okay, everybody, you can find this show along with our other shows on our YouTube channel, Life, Laughter, Happiness. And thanks for the plug earlier, Richard, when you said that's what it's about. Life, Laughter, Happiness. Yes, you're amazing.
Barbara, send your address.
I will send it right now.
We'll figure it out what day. We'll figure it out what day next week, okay?
So excited. I feel so blessed that Richard's going to make a painting for me. And I'm glad that you're inspired to do so, Richard.
You're welcome.
Okay, but we can't do it without we need your address, sweetie, okay?
Okay, I'm going to send it right now.
Are you going to post his paintings I sent you so people could see
them? Yes. Now
that
the show is finished, I will, when I blast it out to everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, I'm going to add those to it. And I'll send them to Johnny, too, when he does his promos. He can add them as well.
That's good. Because Richard takes donations for his paintings. So
I do.
But he's going to sell them. What if he got an offer? That's why I asked him if he was going to leave the paintings with you. So then maybe in a rainy day, you never know.
He's not going anywhere.
In about 20 years.
I'll be dead.
Not you. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Let's not go there.
I will definitely be dead. I'll check it out at 85. So, hey.
No. Okay, you guys. Okay. Well, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for listening, everybody. Aloha, Richard. Aloha.